Test. All right, go ahead.
Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them.
All right, give me Zepheniah 1:8.
And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel. In the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit.
Okay.
And it shall come to pass in that day, says the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hill.
I ain't it either, huh?
No, what you looking for?
Go back to 2. What's the last verse in 2?
15.
15? Well, keep reading. Where we leave off at 2? I don't feel like it's 3.
11. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, everyone from his place, even all the islands of the heathen. You Ethiopians also shall be slain by the sword. He will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and I will make Nineveh a desolation like a dry wilderness.
Everybody got to get it. Watch this.
And flocks shall lie down in the midst of her, and all the beasts of the nations, both the cormorant and the bittern, shall lodge in the upper lintels of it.
Gonna be peace. Even the animals got to obey.
Their voice shall sing in the windows. Desolation.
And why wouldn't the animals obey? They got to obey. Why do the animals have to obey?
We got dominion over everything.
How did we get that prophecy? Who first made the animals obey?
Yahushua.
No, I'm trying to copy him. who made the animals obey first?
That Most High God.
Nope.
Adam.
Adam, right? Remember the Most High God brought all the animals to Adam, and who got to name them?
Adam.
Adam named all the animals, right? Watch this. Keep going.
Desolation shall be in the thresholds, for he shall uncover the cedar work. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly and said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. How has she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passes by her shall hiss and wag his hand. That's it.
All right, let's try Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. If it's 3, I'm going to be mad, because I feel like that's...
Therefore wait ye upon me, says the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people of pure language.
Then he going to do what?
Turn to the people of pure language.
He said, then I'm going to turn to the people of what?
A pure language.
So now it goes from everybody speaking a whole bunch of different languages. We don't know what the language is. Most High God going to come back. He going to destroy all these other people that speak all these other different languages. And then he going to return to us what? A pure language. So if you look and you pay attention, it goes back to what it was in the beginning. Everybody spoke the same language. Everybody was on the same page. Grab Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah chapter 31. It's Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. I'm trying to show you all the unity that we got to get behind. Not this random unity everybody just be running their mouth about. People are unified behind anything. They try to get you, look, it's a bigger deal. I mean, we just got to elect Biden. I mean, we just got to unify just for the greater good. You never compromise for a lie. Never. If you see anybody tell a lie for a greater good, leave it alone. You never compromise. Never compromise for something that's a sin. You can make compromises. Compromising is fine. Never compromise for something that is a sin. Never compromise in dishonesty. Ever. Right? going out, man. Okay.
Thus says the Lord, which gives the sun for light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and the stars for light by night, which divides the sea and the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, says the Lord, then the seed of Israel shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
So if you look at it and you go back to where he was telling you that he gonna put something in our hearts, and that's gonna bring people to unity. We all gonna think one thing. We all gonna live one way, and at that point, we all what? Unified. Go to John 11. Let's get to where we left off last week, or kind of left off. I'm gonna try to fix this audio. I don't know if this thing just.
Relax. Thank you.
All right. It's John chapter 11, verse 1.
Now, a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha.
Uh-huh.
It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. And when Yahshua heard that, he said, the sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby.
Right, he said the sickness is not unto death. He said, but rather this is for the glory of the Most High God. Watch this, keep going.
Now Yahshua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that says he to his disciples, let us go to Judah again. And the disciples said to him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone you, and you go there again? And Yahshua answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbles not, because he sees the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbles, because there is no light in him.
Okay.
These things said he, and after that he said unto them, our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may awake him out of his sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit Yahshua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking a rest and sleep.
Right, so he said that he was asleep, and they thought he was like seriously saying he was only asleep. He was like, now he gonna have to clarify it for him. Watch this.
Then Yahshua said unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. No, bro, he's dead, man. And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him.
Right? Keep going, watch this.
Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, let us also go, that we may die with him. Then when Yahshua came, he found that he had lying in the grave 4 days already.
Lying in the grave, how many days?
4 days.
So y'all see what just happened, right? He said, hey, our friend is dead, our friend is asleep. And then they went somewhere. All right, watch this. Keep on. He lying in the day, 4 days. Keep going.
Now Bethany was near unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Yahshua was coming, went and met him. But Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Yahshua, Lord, if you had been here, my brother had not died.
Right? So remember, Yahshua heard, he was like, we dead. He could have went straight there. But he detoured. He get there, man been dead for 4 days. Martha's like, man, look, if you would have been here. Martha or Mary? That's Mary, right?
Martha.
Martha like, if you would have been here, he wouldn't be dead. Watch this.
Eli, stop. But I know that even now, whatsoever you will ask of God, God will give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahshua said unto her, your brother shall rise again.
Mm-hmm.
Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahshua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live.
Right? So Martha looking at him like, yeah, I know. You didn't preach it to her. One day, you know what I'm saying, we all going to rise up. I get it. Yeah, right? Because he just preaching the same word. He don't understand what she about to do. She don't understand what he about to do. Watch this.
Whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe this? And she said unto him, yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when he had so said, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, the Master is come and calls for you. And as soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him.
Mm-hmm.
Now Yahshua was not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him. And the Jews then, which were with her in the house, and comforted her, when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, she goes unto the grave to weep there. Then when Mary was come to where Yahshua was, and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahshua therefore saw her weeping, and Yahshua also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled,
Mm-hmm.
and said, where have you laid him? And they said unto him, Lord, come and see. And Yahshua wept. Then said the Jews, behold, how he loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them said, could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should have not died? And Yahshua therefore again groaning in himself, coming to the grave, it was a cave, and a stone lay upon it.
Watch this.
And Yahshua said, take away the stone.
Uh-huh.
And Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stinks, for he has been dead 4 days.
She said, by this time the man already rotting away and stinking. We don't want to take away the stone. He been dead 4 days. It's important to understand that Yahushua could have come earlier. He even said it to him. He was like, man, it's good for y'all's sake that I wasn't there. So he purposely waited, took a detour, and then came afterwards, 4 days later. Not 1 day later, not 2 days later, definitely not 3 days later, but 4 days later. Move away. Right? And there's a reason for that. What would be the reason?
Because the Messiah got to rise in 3 days.
The Messiah has to rise in 3 days.
Can't be it.
He can't raise him in 3 days, but he got to do something spectacular. It can't just have him thinking that the man just got sick and was asleep. So he got to leave him dead long enough that people know that he was dead.
And you'd have people arguing like, no, Lazarus was the man.
Yeah, you raised him in 3 days, they might mess around and think Lazarus fulfilled the prophecy. Because that's what the prophecy was, right? Mm-hmm. Let's look at it. This is Jonah. This is Jonah chapter 1. What's the last verse in Jonah? It's Jonah chapter 1. Let me see what the last verse is. You like your grandma.
16.
16, last one. Give me 15. Watch this.
So they took up Jonah and cast him forth into the sea, and the sea ceased from her raging.
Uh-huh.
Then the men feared the Lord exceedingly and offered a sacrifice unto the Lord and made vow.
Watch this.
That's the end of the chapter.
Oh, keep going.
Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
How long?
3 days and 3 nights.
So if the man would have rose after 3 days and 3 nights, that's when Jonah rose. Somebody might have put that together and be like, oh, Lazarus, he's the one. You think Yahushua can have that? What if Lazarus, he rose Lazarus back 3 days, 3 nights, right? and then Yahushua came and rose 3 days, 3 nights, what they would have said?
Yahushua, not the Messiah.
Ain't nothing special. We know somebody else that did the same thing. Ain't that what they do? That's kind of how people do now, right? They be like, man, well, how do we know that there's no evidence that Jesus did those miracles, right? There's no evidence that he did it, right? Because they can't, scientifically, you can't recreate it, right? But if you could recreate it, what would they say?
Ain't nothing.
Ain't special. We can recreate it.
Same thing.
So it's like a lose-lose. Hold on. Hey. Y'all put that stuff down.
Same thing that they did with Moses.
Yeah, exact same thing they did with Moses. Moses came, he turned his staff into a what?
Snake.
What the magicians do?
The same thing.
Same thing. He turned water into what?
Blood.
And what the magicians do?
Turn it into blood.
What was the next one he did?
They created the...
No, it's the frogs, right?
They couldn't do the frogs.
What's the next one then?
I don't remember. But I think it was one more that they did too.
Yeah, they did 3 of them. I can't think of the next one right now. Huh? Gnats, I think it was like 7.
They couldn't. I don't think they could recreate any of the animals or like any of the like insects or nothing. I don't know.
It was a fish or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. So if you could recreate it, then you try to discredit them. So if you find somebody else that, man, ain't nothing special. Yeah, he might have rose, but ain't nothing special. Other people done did it.
But Lazarus rose in the same body. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua came back glorified.
They don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But you remember who saw that? Did everybody see that?
No, disciples just saw it.
Very particular people saw that event, right? So you got to go off of the word of mouth of those very particular people. So when you go back, since you didn't see it, your rebut gonna be, even if he did, we saw a man that rose back, and he ain't nobody, and your dude ain't nobody either, right? So he had to make sure, okay, we separate this. Let's just separate this. I don't want it to be the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If it's too close to the same thing, these people gonna try to do something with it, right? So he did it 3 days, 3 nights is how he rose, but he waited a little bit for Lazarus. He said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna go ahead and do this on the 4th day, right? The 3rd day is throughout the whole scripture, everywhere, right? Starting at Genesis going on. Grab Hosea for me. I think it's Hosea chapter 6, verse 1.
And on the 3rd day, he will bind us up.
It's Hosea chapter 6, verse 1.
Come and let us return to the Lord, for he has torn and he will heal us. He has smitten and he will bind us up.
Watch this.
And after 2 days will he revive us, and on the 3rd day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight.
Right? So we looked at it like, oh, that's prophecy. You really want to dig into it, grab Genesis 22. Or is it 21? I think it's 22. Genesis chapter 22. You don't have to help me up with the verse. Maybe like verse 10, 9 maybe. I don't want the whole thing. All right, y'all remember Abraham? He got his son, not Ishmael, you know what I'm saying? Ishmael, he tried to make that thing happen with the bondwoman, right? But remember, you know what I'm saying? His wife laughed, named her son Isaac. You know what I'm saying? That's what the name mean, laugh. Right? You know what I'm saying? So they finally got their son. Then a man came of age. And the Most High God said, go ahead and sacrifice him. Abraham was like, what? But then he went ahead and he went to go do it. And the son was asking questions like, you know what I'm saying? What we got going on up here, Dad? What we got going? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Most High God gonna provide the sacrifice. Can you imagine that? You know what I'm saying? He didn't even tell his son he about to die. Right? He didn't bring him up there. That thing's about to happen. Watch what happened.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the
Look,
knife.
he stretched forth his hand.
And he took the knife to slay his son.
And he took the knife. He was about to kill his son.
And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I.
Uh-huh.
He said, lay not your hand upon the lad.
He said, don't lay your hand upon the lad. Watch this.
Neither do anything unto him. For now I know that you fear God, seeing that you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
Okay.
And Abraham called the name of that place Yahuwah-Yireh. As it is said of this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of the heaven the second time. And said, by myself have I sworn, says the Lord, for because you have done this thing and has not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed.
He said, I will multiply what?
Your seed. As the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies.
And your what?
Seed shall possess the gate of his enemies.
That's prophecy, right? What verse we start at?
10.
10? Give me verse 7. Watch this.
And Isaac spake to Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I, my son.
Nah, maybe I need before that. Maybe 6.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took...
Give me verse 1.
And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now your son, your only son, whom you love, and get into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell of you.
Now watch this.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God told him. And the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes. On which day? On the third day. Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said to his young men, abide here.
You want to know what's crazy? Like, we don't understand this is prophecy. Guess where he is about to sacrifice his son at?
Mount Moriah.
And guess where Yahushua got sacrificed at?
In Jerusalem.
Mount Moriah.
That's where the temple was built. And
right?
Destroyed his temple and rebuilt it in 3 days.
Same place, Mount Moriah. Right? It's just that when Yahushua came, guess what they called it? Golgotha. They called it the place of skulls. They called it what's the other name? What's the other name they got it for it?
Sanctuary or something?
No, the ones that Christians be using. It's in the book too.
Calvary?
Calvary. You know what I'm saying? They call it Calvary, right? But the actual, in Hebrew, is Golgotha, right? Place of skulls is what it means. Right? You know why they call it place of skulls? Who that tied back to?
Gideon, right? Over in
not Gideon. Samson.
Right.
Oh.
Right. Remember
jawbone.
Remember Samson took the jawbone and started killing all them people. Right. All this stuff is prophecy. All of it line up. You got the son about to be sacrificed on Mount Moriah on the third day by the Father on the third day. Right. All that line up. You mess around and have Lazarus die on the third day. This thing might have got confusing. You just never know. It might have got confusing. Most High God said, no, we're not having that. Even when the Most High God spoke from, we ain't got to get it, but even when he spoke from the mountain, when did that happen?
Yeah, Moses? That happened on Mount Horeb.
Yeah, but when did it happen?
What, 400 years after this?
All right, now we got to get it. It's Exodus chapter 19. Give me like verse 10. Exodus chapter 19, verse 10.
Being too specific, huh?
It's Exodus chapter 19, verse 10.
And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day.
Against what?
The third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of the people upon Mount Sinai.
It might have got real confusing if Lazarus died on the third day.
Rose on the third.
Rose on the third day. Right? The whole book lineup. That means the whole book got to continue to line up. You have to understand that just so that the Most High God will be right, everybody else got to be a liar. Everybody else. So think that's why when the Pharisees and all that, they trying to guess. They looking like there ain't nobody that came from Galilee. Most High God covered himself. He put all these prophecies out there, and he gonna make them all work too. But he covered himself because it's like, oh, I'm gonna give you a verse that talk about somebody coming from Galilee, and you just gonna miss it. So when you think it ain't nobody that come from Galilee, you're wrong. And I'm gonna hide the fact that the man was actually born in Judah. Right? That's how it works. Like the Most High God gonna present it to us in a way that we never expected it. And all the stuff that we suppose is gonna be wrong, he'll make everything else wrong just so he can be right. The man gonna be right at the end of the day. It'd be wrong if he wasn't right. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go back to John 11. Pick up where we left off. I'm going to try to cover a little ground today.
Verse 40. And Yahushua said unto her, said I not unto thee that if you would believe, you should see the glory of God?
Uh-huh.
Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid.
Uh-huh.
And Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that you have heard me.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that you hear me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that you have sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth bound hand and foot with grave clothes.
That boy walked right on up out of there.
And his face was bound about with a napkin.
You know what I'm saying? You got to imagine he was all wrapped up. He came out of that thing like, you know what I mean? They looking at that man like, what in the world just happened? Watch how these people react.
And Yahushua said unto them, loose him and let him go.
Uh-huh.
The many of the Jews which came to Mary.
Can you imagine witnessing something like that?
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine witnessing something like that? We all sitting around talking. We at this man's funeral. We all sitting there crying and mourning over the man. This guy just walk up. Because remember, everybody unsure about the guy. Not everybody is sold on him. So even when he came, it's like, man, well, this, you know what I'm saying? They looking at him like, oh, this is the guy that was, you know what I'm saying, making the blind see. They looking at him like, oh, this is the one y'all was talking about. He, you know what I'm saying? He made the blind see. Couldn't he, you know what I'm saying, kept him from dying? They talking like he ain't about to do this. Then the man just walk up, you know what I'm saying? He talked to, they like, yeah, man, I mean, I wish you was here because you could have resurrected him. Don't you know you believe in me? You know what I'm saying? You going to live? Yeah, no. We know that, you know what I'm saying, the resurrection, we all going to come back. But I'm just saying, if you was here, you're like, all right, go. I wish you was here. Don't you know you believe in me? You know what I'm saying? You'll see these things. You'll see the glory of God. Yeah, I believe. All right, hold on. Let me show you something real quick. Lazarus, come on now. The book said he cried, though. He wasn't calm. You know what I'm saying? He yelled that thing, right? He came on. Just came out. Yeah, I like to imagine that he just, you know what I'm saying, his foot was, he wrapped up. He was like, you know what I'm saying, just kind of hopping out. And everybody just looking there. Ain't nobody even got the mind. This is how I imagine it. Ain't nobody even got the mind to go over there and help him out because of how shocked they are that this is happening right now. Man just hopping out, you know what I'm saying? He probably, you know what I'm saying, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? Man ain't eating 3 days, 4 days. Man darn hungry, he's starving. Get the man something to eat. Everybody just sitting there looking. That's how I like to imagine. Everybody just sitting there looking at him like, what in the world? Watch how they react to this. Because you got to put yourself in their position. These are people that's unsure about the man.
Thinking like, you know, he making some company else about him.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know how to feel about him, but this is legit. Like, they just, like, this is my boy. Like, I don't know how to feel about y'all, sure. They say, yeah, I know y'all love him, because the boy love him. The one that died love him. Mary, Martha love her. They all brothers and sisters. They all love him. And I love y'all. Y'all my people. But I don't know too much about him. I mean, I hear what y'all say. Maybe he healed some stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just saying I don't know. Right? Then they see this with their own eyes. Remember, it's a whole political scene where people is like, you know what I'm saying, the top dog, the Pharisees, like, do not believe in this man. we just read a couple weeks ago, they were like, have you heard us believe in him? Did he confuse y'all too? Right? And so now you got the people that just like, but I'm seeing this stuff with my own eyes now. This ain't the same. This ain't the same as just hearing it. I just saw my boy, who I knew for a very long time, he just hopped out of the darn grave. Watch this.
Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen these things which Yahushua did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done.
You understand that? Like they saw it, and after that, they was like, oh, that settles it for me. Because that's my boy, that's my friend. That you just, oh, that settles, that's it. That settles it for me, I believe. Right? Then some of them, they still connect to the Pharisees. So they went back to the Pharisees like, no, listen, I understand what y'all been telling me. The man just raised my boy, though. Watch this.
Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we do? For this man does many miracles.
Right? Now they looking like, oh, whoa. A lot of people believing on him now. What are we going to do? It never crossed their, look, let me tell you what never crossed their mind. This is actually the Messiah. That never crossed their mind. What's in their mind is, this can't be because the man is talking foolishness. We remember all the stuff that he taught. He talking about eat my darn flesh, drink my blood. That's against our law. Right? He talking about I am one with the Father. Making himself one with God. That is against our law. Right? That's how we looking at it. As Jews, as Hebrews. Right? As Israelites, we looking at this like, this doesn't quite make sense to me. Although he's doing miracles, I don't know that this makes sense. So we got law that tell us, even if somebody do signs and wonders, and they come to pass, if they not talking about the God of our fathers, guess what? Stone they butt. So you look at the Pharisees, they got law that'll support their thinking. Although their thinking is inaccurate, they have law to support what they think what they think is right. So they looking at it, they didn't even consider that this is actually the Messiah. All they looking at is the man making himself one with God, he must be a false prophet. Right? The man breaking the Sabbath, the man doing all these things, he must be a false prophet. He just can't be right. Let's see, keep going, watch what they say.
If we let him alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
It's too, in their mind, this is a false prophet. It's too costly to let him live. If we just let this man keep going as a false prophet, people gonna believe on him. They gonna really think he the real Messiah, and he's not. Then all of a sudden, the Romans gonna come and they gonna take all this stuff that we got away.
Because if the people believe he the Messiah, then they gonna rally up behind him, wanting to fight and go to war and try to take.
Because that's what the Messiah is.
And the Pharisees like, no, this ain't the Messiah. We gonna lose to the Romans if y'all try to go and fight, right?
It just don't make logical sense.
Just like in Judges, you have the judge to come and liberate the people from oppression through war and through fighting. This is exactly what they looked at the Messiah as. And they are right, because the Messiah, that's why he say, I come to judge the earth. So in Judges, it was about these men that were sent by the Most High to liberate his people, right? Through war and fighting. Same thing Messiah gonna do at the end. He ain't coming back with the little hands out with the little shining light behind him. So that's what they gonna want to do. That's why they saying, hey, bro, the Romans gonna come and take our nation, because they gonna gather behind this dude trying to fight. We ain't ready for all that.
So for them, they doing it to protect the people in their mind. It's important to understand that people don't have bad intentions all the time.
Gotta know that history.
It's just that people are not precise enough with the book. And the Pharisees aren't stupid. Like the Pharisees, it ain't as if the Pharisees don't know the book. Like that's how dangerous it is. That's why the humility got to come in. Because at any point, you can misunderstand this thing and make a grave mistake. It's not like the Pharisees didn't spend all day and night studying it. Their mistake is they let too much of the tradition creep in. Sometimes you got to look at the book and just go with what it say. Sometimes you got to hear people out. You can't just think you already know and you ain't hearing people out. When people speak, you got to listen to them and you got to consider it. Somebody, especially if they're showing you something in the book, you got to consider it. I tell you what, ain't nobody that can pop up with the book and try to show me something and I ain't listening.
Problem is, don't ever bring out the book, though.
Oh, no, these people. Yeah, I ain't listening when you ain't bringing out that book. You just running your darn mouth, I ain't listening. But now when you come with the book, I'm paying attention. Even if you think I'm not paying attention, I'm paying attention. I'm hearing every single word. I'm hearing everything you put together, how you link that verse, your interpretation of the verse, everything related to the book. Guess what? I got that. I'm paying attention to it. Let's go ahead.
And one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest the same year, said unto them, You know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
He said it's expedient for us that one man die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. The brother on the comments, he said that the Pharisees did it to protect their relationship with the Romans and with King Herod, right? And while I agree, kinda, right, it is kinda protecting their relationship, I think that's very narrow-sighted. I don't think they protecting their relationship for the sake of protecting their relationship. I think they protecting their relationship because they think that that's the best way that they can protect the people. They convince themselves. It's the same way that these sellouts convince themselves by standing next to Biden that they doing the right thing and they helping out the people. Right? It's the same thing that people doing by standing there, you know what I'm saying, by Kanye West going and standing next to Trump, that he helping out the people. They convince themselves that this is what you're supposed to do because it's the better thing to do. If we don't do this, then the politician going to be against us and we really going to be in for it. So let's just make some side deals with them. Let's smile in their face and let's do this and let's not ask for too much. These people, everybody be thinking they're doing the right thing. But the problem is, does it line up with righteousness? Do you got to perpetuate a lie? Do you got to tell a lie? Any of that? No. And that's what the Pharisees are doing here. They're perpetuating lies. They sitting there plotting on killing a man to save the nation. And not just Yahushua. Watch this. Keep going.
And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation. Mm-hmm. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Mm-hmm. Then from that day forth they took counsel together to put him to death. And Yahushua therefore walked no more openly among the Jews, but went there unto a country near to the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim, and there continued with his disciples.
All right.
And the Jews' Passover was near at hand, and many went out of the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then sought they for Yahushua, and spake among themselves as they stood in the temple, What think ye that he will not come to the feast? Mm-hmm. Now both the chief priests and the Pharisees has given a commandment, if any man knew where he were, he should show it, that they might take him.
All right. So this is where Judas come in.
I think in another place, what you was talking about, I think that's like in Luke or something, when they wanted to kill Lazarus too.
No, keep going.
Oh, it's in the next chapter? Mm-hmm. Oh. I was looking for that thing just now. And then Yahushua 6 days before the Passover came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Mm-hmm. Then took Mary a pound of ointment and sprinkled it very costly, and anointed the feet of Yahushua, and wiped his feet with her hair. Mm-hmm. And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Mm-hmm. Then said one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him, Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor?
Right? Judas is all about that money.
This he said, not that he cared for the poor.
So when you see the Pharisees, right? When you see the high priest putting out the word there, if you know where Yahushua is, let me know. That eventually turns into a reward. And when Judas hear about that reward, he like, oh, that's easy money. My boy is innocent. That's how he looking at it. My boy is innocent, right? That's easy money. I'm going to give you that. I get the return fee. You going to try to put him on trial. He going to beat it. And then we both going to be chilling. Everything going to go good. We're going to see how that actually turned out. Keep going.
Why was this not ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor. This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was the thief and had the bag.
Right, you see John writing that thing. He ain't care nothing. You know, John don't like him. John like, he a traitor. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say that because he cared about the poor. He just wanted the bag. You know what I'm saying? Watch that. Read that thing again. He did, man, he didn't care nothing about. John sitting there hating like, man, he ain't care nothing. He only said it because he didn't care nothing about the poor. He wanted the darn bag. Watch this.
This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and bear that was put there.
That boy wanted the bag. What you mean?
So I would always hear how, like, you know, Jesus is so this and that and the third. He even let the thief hold the bag. But now I come to realize he was just trying to set him up.
The whole thing's a setup.
Yeah, it wasn't that he was just so loving and.
I like to imagine Yahushua. I like to imagine Peter held the bag at first. Yahushua like, no. I want you to do it. You know what I'm saying? You right here. No. I want you to do it.
They try to make it seem like
this thing got to go the way it's supposed to go.
He's so forgiving, and it don't matter what you do. They use that to like do that. It don't matter what you do. Like he let the thief hold the bag, so it's like no, he did that to set him up.
They don't understand that though, because you understand it, you would know like, oh yeah, he's setting traps.
Oh no, don't nobody want to feel that heat. You mean Yahushua wanted it to happen like that, and he wanted him to do it, and he knew he. Yeah, that's why at the table he said, one of y'all gonna set me up. But go ahead, go do what you gotta do.
On the contrary, it's the other way around.
Like, what you mean? Let's see, keep going.
Then said to Yahushua, let her alone. Against this day of my burying hath she kept this. For the poor always you have with you, but me you have not always. And much people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there, and they came not for Yahushua's sake only, but that they might see Lazarus also,
look at that,
whom he had raised from the dead. But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus to death also, because that by reason of him many of the Jews went away and believed on Yahushua.
So this is when you know, maybe in your mind, okay, this Yahushua guy, he committed blasphemy. He made himself one with God. That's grounds for death if you really believe that he did that, right? So maybe you got a just cause against him in your mind, right? Now here's where your trigger. This is what we all got to be aware of, every last one of us, because the Most High God always gives us a inkling that we are in the wrong, if we paying attention and if we follow the book. Now they get tempted to kill Lazarus just because people are believing on him because of Lazarus, and they can't get to him, right? I can't touch him. I'm thinking about. I think we should maybe kill Lazarus though, because it's for the good of the people. What Lazarus do? What charges we got on him?
I mean, do nothing but died.
What charges do we got on him? That's when you say, okay, you know what? I'm doing something wrong. My mind is wrong. You notice that little thing. They don't even bend no harsh things like that. Little things. Peter just stand up to Yahushua and say, Yahushua predicting his death. He's like, no, you're not going to suffer. I would never let that happen. What Yahushua say to him?
Get behind me, Satan.
He said, I'll rebuke you, Satan, get behind me. Right? And that's just something little. Because Yahushua knows his focus is so in tune with the Most High God that he knows even these little thoughts can get in the way of what's right. And this is a big thought. They thought about killing Yahushua, maybe because they actually think he did something wrong, right? But when Lazarus come in, they don't stop themselves. That's the indication that, my whole trajectory, everything that I'm thinking about has to change. I got to go back to the drawing board on this, because I was just tempted, for the sake of doing this, I was just tempted to do something that's absolutely wrong, that I know is wrong. Like, this might be wrong, but I know for a fact this one is wrong. That's when you're supposed to re-examine. And all of us got those. Every day in our life, every day. That's how you do it. Do not turn to sin thinking that this is going to be a better outcome overall. I'm just going to commit this one sin, but the bigger picture is going to work out for me, because this one, I'm just going to take this sin, flip it. No, it don't work like that. It never works that way. Not for righteousness, at least. You might be able, you know what I'm saying, go do a sin, take some money, flip it, go buy you a nice house and have a great family and have a great life. That might work for you. I'm not going to say that's not going to work for you. Look at Jay-Z. That boy's still sinning. Apparently his life is great, right? I'm not going to say it, that part won't work for you. What I am going to say is you're going right to hell. Because what I can say about Jay-Z is, man, that thing going to be harder than putting a whole camel through the eye of a darn needle. You understand? That thing going to be tough. Have somebody tell you got to give it all up? Oh, that's going to be hard. And you got a wife and kids. You've been this way your whole life. Ooh. How you just pop up one day and be like, you remember when we popped up and told our wives, you know what I'm saying, no more Christmas? That thing was rough.
Well, I wasn't married when I stopped. But
that thing was rough. Boy, it's like, no more Christmas? It took a couple years. It took about a year or two. I think it was the second year we kind of, you know what I mean? And even after that, that thing was still like it's like tension around that time of the year. You know what I'm talking about? Imagine having to do that about everything. Oh, no, we can't drink no more. We can't do these drugs no more. We can't sing these type of songs no more. We can't do this. We can't do that. We can't do this. We can't do that. We can't take that interview. We can't stand next to that person. We can't do this. Just imagine, like, your entire life changed. This is what the Most High God talking about. That thing tough. It's not easy. So you got to ask yourself, do I want to do this little sin to flip over this better life for myself, knowing that the better life is just going to make it harder for me to get back to where I'm supposed to be? Or do I want to do what I'm supposed to do now, take my lumpings, and let the Most High God bless me with whatever he see fit? Either way, if I do the right thing, I get to see the kingdom. It's your choice. Whole thing is a setup, though. Any questions? All right, let's pray out.